Good morning students, here we come up with the gross anatomy of the radial artery. So in the gross anatomy of the radial artery, we will first try and draw a line diagram and then we will trace the entire course of the radial artery. This radial artery, as we have to draw, we will start with the head of the radius, neck of the radius, the body of the radius here, and we are going to show over here styloid process and the lower end of the radius, this much, and over here we are going to show the ulna. This will represent our lower end of the ulna. Similarly, let us try and draw very fast the carpal bones, and no need to draw the exact dimensions, just try and draw these bones over here, and we are going to show scaphoidolunate pisiform, then trapezium, trapezoid, capitate and hamate with its hook. Similarly, after drawing these structures, we are going to show at least the metacarpal. Try and draw the first, try and draw the second one, and whatever space is left. Now we are interested in the front of the radius and ulna. Radial artery will begin 1 centimeter below the bend of the elbow. So the radial artery will begin 1 centimeter below the bend of the elbow, and exactly it will be beginning at the tendon of biceps, the insertion of the tendon of the biceps. So therefore the tendon of the biceps will be lying lateral to the radial artery, and here we can show the insertion of the tendon of biceps. This will be the tendon of biceps muscle. So here on the radial tuberosity will be the tendon of biceps muscle. So therefore this radial artery is a branch of brachial artery. It is the smaller terminal branch of brachial artery, which will arise 1 centimeter below the bend of elbow, in front of the neck of the radius, and it will be lying medial to the tendon of biceps. So from above, this is brachial, and this brachial artery will divide at this level into radial and ulnar. So here, this is brachial artery, tendon of biceps, this is radial artery, this is ulnar artery. Once again I repeat, the radial artery will take its origin, or it will be commencing from brachial artery, which is lying medial to tendon of biceps. Similarly, the radial artery will also commence from brachial artery at the level of neck of radius, and it is lying 1 centimeter below the bend of elbow. These 3 points are important for the starting of radial artery. Then the radial artery will curve around laterally on anterior surface of the radius, on radial side of the front of forearm, and then it will pass straight down towards the distal end of the radius. At the distal end of the radius, over the styloid process, it will curve dorsally and pass curving around the dorsal side of the carpus. So it will come and lie dorsally on the dorsum of the wrist, dorsum of the carpus, or dorsum of the hand. This is the entire course of radial artery. Now since the commencement we have discussed of radial artery, now its course and relations. In the course of radial artery, it is traveling with a lateral convexity on the front of the radial side of the forearm, and then just above the styloid process of radius, it will curve dorsally, laterally over the carpus bone and enter the dorsum of the hand. From the dorsum of the hand, it will then pierce the two heads of the first dorsal interosseous muscle, and then it will enter the palm. That diagram also we are going to draw later on. Now here, relations. In the relations of this entire course of radial artery, number one, laterally it will be accompanied by one strong muscle of the forearm, and that muscle will be, if you draw this muscle over here, brachioradialis muscle. So this is brachioradialis muscle. Now this brachioradialis muscle will also overlap radial artery in upper part. In upper part it is also overlapping the radial artery. This is brachioradialis muscle. So laterally it is always related with the brachioradialis muscle. Medially this radial artery will be always related with the flexor carpi radialis tendon. So medially it is related with flexor carpi radialis tendon. This is the medial and lateral relations of radial artery. Brachioradialis on the lateral side, flexor carpi radialis on medial side. Similarly, superficially when you dissect, you will see that the radial artery in the upper part it is overlapped by brachioradialis muscle, but major part of the course of radial artery in the lower part, middle and lower part, it is only covered by skin, superficial fascia and deep fascia. Therefore, anterior, the superficial relations of the radial artery will be in the upper part brachioradialis, and in the middle and lower part it is covered by skin, superficial fascia and deep fascia. Now the deep relations. What are the deeper structures to this radial artery? The deeper structures, once again I will darken this radial artery. The deep structures to this radial artery will be the muscles. What are the muscles? Deep to it will be, I am not going to draw over here, otherwise it will complicate this diagram. Deep to it will be pronator teres. Then lower down there will be, in the middle and the lower part there will be flexor digitorum superficialis, the radial origin of flexor digitorum superficialis. Again lower down there will be pronator quadratus. So these muscles, they form the deeper aspects of radial artery. Here we finish the relations. Now we come to branches. What are the branches of radial artery? The branches will be, they are very important. All the branches, relations are also very simple. Now the branches will be, we are tracing one by one all the branches. First branch of radial artery will be, from here it will give a radial recurrent branch. So please draw it. This will be radial recurrent branch. So that it will pass in front of the lateral epicondyle of the humerus and take part in anastomosis of the elbow joint, radial recurrent artery. And here we are going to name this as radial recurrent branch. Radial recurrent branch, I am going to give it as number 1. This is the first branch. Now second branch, muscular branches within the vicinity, within the area. So it will give muscular branches. It will supply the muscular branches, and we are going to name these as the muscular branches of radial artery number 2. This is branch number 2. Then branch number 3. There will be a branch which will be known as palmar carpal branch. Now palmar carpal branch means at the distal end of the radius, the radial artery will give a branch which will traverse transversely towards medial side, and transversely towards the medial side it will be like this, transversely towards the medial side in this direction. But this branch will be posterior to these flexor tendons, so posterior to all these flexor tendons, and this branch is called palmar carpal branch. Once again I'll repeat, third branch, palmar carpal branch, will be given at the distal end, just above the distal end of the radius, above the carpus, and this branch will traverse transversely, medially, and behind the long flexor tendons, where it will meet a similar branch from ulnar artery to form this anastomosis, and this anastomosis which will be formed is called palmar carpal anastomosis. So therefore, the name of this branch, I will term it as branch number 3. It is called palmar carpal branch. Palmar carpal branch. It will meet the palmar carpal branch of the ulnar artery and form the palmar carpal anastomosis in front of the carpus, in front of the lower end of the wrist joint. Branch number 3. Now branch number 4, very simple. In the branch number 4, just as this branch was transversely, it was given towards the medial side behind the long flexor tendon. Similarly, another branch posteriorly behind the extensor tendons. So same way, another branch will be given posteriorly, and this branch posteriorly, here I am drawing with the dots. It will also traverse behind the extensor tendons towards the ulnar side, where it will meet a similar branch from ulnar artery. So this branch is known as dorsal carpal branch. Dorsal carpal branch. Here I am going to write it as branch number 4, dorsal carpal branch. These two are easy to remember. One is palmar carpal branch. This is dorsal carpal branch. Palmar carpal branch will be in front, behind the flexor tendons, transversely towards the medial side, towards the ulnar side, where it will meet the palmar carpal branch of the ulnar artery and form palmar carpal anastomosis. Similarly, dorsal carpal branch will be given dorsally. It will travel again towards the ulnar side, but dorsally, deep to the extensor tendons of the forearm, back of the forearm, and will meet dorsal carpal branch of ulnar side, form dorsal carpal anastomosis. So, palmar carpal branch, number 3, dorsal carpal branch, number 4. So, these are the 4 branches in front of the forearm, Now, branch number 5 will be in such a way that here we have to concentrate. The branch number 5 will be just before the radial artery will turn laterally over the carpus. We can see that the radial artery turns laterally over the carpus here, over the styloid process, and goes laterally over the carpus, over the dorsum of the hand. Before that, before it's turning, it will give 5th branch, and that 5th branch is superficial palmar branch. So here I am drawing. This is the radial artery turning laterally, and here I will give this branch. And the name of this branch is superficial palmar branch. Let us name this as superficial palmar branch, and this I will name it as number 5, superficial palmar branch. And this superficial palmar branch, just before radial artery turns laterally over the carpus, it is given, it will travel over the thenar group of muscles, and this branch will anastomose with a similar branch of ulnar artery to form the superficial palmar arch. So this superficial palmar branch is a branch of radial artery before the radial artery turns laterally over the carpus, and it will pass over the thenar group of muscles and will join with the similar branch of ulnar artery to form superficial palmar arch in the palm. So this is branch number 5, superficial palmar arch. These 5 branches in front of the forearm. Number 1, the radial recurrent branch. Number 2, muscular branches. Number 3, the palmar carpal branch. Number 4, the dorsal carpal branch. And number 5, the superficial palmar branch. Very easy to understand. Now we draw a diagram in such a way that we show the dorsal branches. Now we are going to draw the diagram below this level, dorsally, because the radial artery is turning dorsally. Before we draw the diagram, 2 tendons I would like to show. Here as the artery is crossing laterally over the carpus through anatomical snuff box. Remember, this course of radial artery will be through the anatomical snuff box. This course will be through anatomical snuff box. It is crossed by 2 tendons. And these 2 tendons, where it is crossed, I will draw with green color. The 2 tendons will be abductor pollicis longus and extensor pollicis brevis. Abductor pollicis longus and extensor pollicis brevis. So, beneath these 2 tendons, the radial artery will course through the anatomical snuff box and will travel on the dorsum of the wrist. Abductor pollicis longus and extensor pollicis brevis. Now we come on this side and we try and draw. Please come on this side. We try and show the dorsum of the hand. So very fast, let us try and show the dorsum of the hand. For that, we try and show, this will be our first metacarpal, this will be our phalanx, and we know that in the first metacarpal, there are 2 phalanges. Then we draw, we try and show here, this will be our second, then we try and show, this will be our third, then we try and show this will be our 4th, and we try and show this will be our 5th metacarpal bone. So here, these are the metacarpals, and slowly all the metacarpals we will draw 2, 3, 4 and 5. Phalanges. Now in the phalanges, we are trying and we will show them first, then proximal, middle and distal phalanx, similarly proximal, middle and distal phalanx, similarly proximal, middle and distal phalanx, and also proximal, middle and distal phalanx. Now here, this is the dorsum. Here we are going to show at least we are going to show here the carpal bones, and these carpal bones, as we show them, very rough diagram. These are the carpal bones, very rough diagram it is, and basically these carpal bones over here dorsum, the first dorsal interosseous muscle, it is always taking origin from the adjacent sides of the first and second metacarpal bone. It is having two heads, and it will be inserted on this side, but it is having two heads. It will be inserted always on the radial side of the second digit. It will be inserted always on the radial side of the second digit at the level of the proximal phalanx. It is taking origin, the first dorsal interossei bipinnate, it is taking origin from adjacent sides of the first and second dorsal interossei, the first and second metacarpal bones, first dorsal interossei muscle. Why this muscle is very important? Because the radial artery will turn and it will pass beneath the heads of these two dorsal interossei muscle. So here we are going to show the radial artery. This radial artery, it is coming dorsally from this side, it is coming after it is taking a turn over the lateral side of the carpus through anatomical snuff box. So as it is coming over the anatomical snuff box, it is passing dorsum of the wrist. This is dorsum of the wrist, passing in front of dorsum of the wrist, and then it will pass here between the two heads of the first dorsal interosseous muscle. As it passes between the two heads of first dorsal interosseous muscle, it will enter the palm. So this much brief course of radial artery is there on the dorsum of the hand, remember. Therefore, this is a continuation of the previous, this diagram, please come on this side, the previous diagram. After taking a turn beneath the abductor pollicis longus and extensor pollicis brevis through anatomical snuff box over the lateral side of the carpus, it will enter the dorsum of the palm. And here, please come on this side, this is the diagram on the dorsum of the hand. So it is coming on the dorsum of the hand, this radial artery. Then it will immediately pass, after traveling a short course over the dorsum of the hand, it will pass between the two heads of first dorsal interosseous muscle to enter the palm. But in this brief course, it will give one branch, and that will be branch number 6. The branch which is given over here will be this branch. It will be known as the branch which will supply the adjacent sides of the thumb as well as the index finger. So therefore, this branch will supply the adjacent sides of the thumb and index finger. So therefore, as it is on the dorsum, it is called first dorsal metacarpal artery. So this artery will be known as the first dorsal metacarpal artery, and this artery will then supply the adjacent sides of the first, that is the thumb, and the second, that is the index finger, the adjacent sides. And it is on the dorsum, so it is called first dorsal metacarpal artery. Here we are going to name this as branch number 6, that is the first dorsal metacarpal artery. This artery is given in the dorsum before the radial artery will enter the palm, after passing between the two heads of the first dorsal interossei muscle. But before it passes between the two heads of the first dorsal interosseous muscle, it will give this first dorsal metacarpal artery, which will then supply on the dorsum the adjacent sides of the thumb and index finger. Now coming up. So now, after giving this branch, first dorsal metacarpal artery, as branch number 6, it is passing between the two heads of the first dorsal interosseous muscle and entering the palm. So therefore, as it enters the palm, let us come on this side and we will try and draw another diagram on this side. This will be entirely of the palm. So in case of the palm, let us draw and concentrate. Now this is the first metacarpal. Over here we shall draw the second metacarpal. Over here we will draw the third metacarpal, then the fourth metacarpal, and then the fifth metacarpal. Now remember, this is the palmar aspect we are going to draw. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Over here we shall be drawing the first proximal and distal phalanx. Over here the proximal, middle and distal phalanx, the proximal, the middle and distal phalanx, the proximal, the middle and distal phalanx, and the proximal, the middle and distal phalanx. This is the palm. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the palm. Now let us try and complete this with this carpal bones. Over here we are trying, and we shall complete this with the carpal bones. And here we are going to once again draw a carpal bone in which we are going to show trapezium, trapezoid, then capitate, and then hemet over here. So, and let us complete with the scaphoid, lunate, requitrol and pisiform also. And here we will just extend it. So these are the carpal bones. This is the palm. Now we are interested in once again the first dorsal interosseous muscle. So in the first dorsal interosseous muscle, we are going to show, this is from the palmar aspect, but we are showing this is the first dorsal interosseous muscle. Let us draw first this muscle. This is from the dorsum, remember. Now the radial artery is passing in the palm through this muscle. So this is the radial artery which is passing in the palm through this muscle in between the two heads of the first dorsal interosseous muscle. It is coming in the palm between the two heads of first dorsal interosseous muscle. The same muscle which we have drawn on the dorsum side. We are showing from the palmar side how this muscle is attached. Now, another muscle of the palm which we need to draw very fast, that muscle is adductor pollicis, oblique head and transverse head. The transverse head, we will first show the transverse head from third metacarpal, and this transverse head will then join with the oblique head, and oblique head at the base of the second, third and trapezoid and capitate. So this is the oblique head of adductor pollicis. Now both the heads will fuse with adductor pollicis. Both the heads are fusing and they will join the proximal phalanx of the, this is the proximal phalanx of the first digit. So this is how the heads will fuse. So this is the oblique head and this is the transverse head. These two, they are the adductor pollicis. Once again, this will be the transverse head and this will be the oblique head of adductor pollicis muscle. Now the radial artery, after passing between the two heads of the dorsal interosseous muscle, it will then pass in such a way that it will travel between the two heads of adductor pollicis muscle, that is between oblique head and transverse head. So as it passes between the two heads, oblique head and transverse head, this radial artery here, it will pass between the two heads of the adductor pollicis muscle. It will then form in the palm the deep palmar arch. So this is how the radial artery will form the deep palmar arch, where it will join with the similar branch coming from the ulnar side. But here, make sure that this radial artery will pass between the two heads, between the oblique head and transverse head of adductor pollicis in the palm. So if this is the transverse head, what we are going to show will be that this radial artery over here, it is lying between these two heads. So this is the radial artery and just beneath will be the transverse head. This is the transverse head. So therefore, here it will give the last two terminal branches, and the last two terminal branches, very important, they are asked many times in MCQ or Viva. They are branch number 7 and branch number 8. Now, before once again it gives these two branches, let us remember that the radial artery will enter the palm between the two heads of the first dorsal interosseous muscle. Then once in the palm, it will travel between oblique and transverse head of adductor pollicis muscle in such a way that it will form the deep palmar arch by joining with the similar branch of the ulnar artery from ulnar side. So this will form the deep palmar arch, continuation of radial artery. The termination of the radial artery is the deep palmar arch. Here you can name this as deep palmar arch. The termination of radial artery, the continuation of radial artery is deep palmar arch between the oblique and transverse head. I hope this is visible over here. So here, now this radial artery in the palm will give the last two terminal branches, branch number 7, branch number 8. Now branch number 7 is the arteria princeps pollicis. This radial artery, this arteria princeps pollicis will be given just beneath the oblique head of adductor pollicis. So beneath the oblique head of adductor pollicis, here I am going to draw this branch. It will travel across the metacarpal bone, across the first metacarpal bone in the palm, and at the proximal phalanx it will divide into two branches. So it will supply either side of the proximal and distal phalanx of the thumb. I hope it is coming in there. So it is passing on either side of the thumb. This is known as arteria princeps pollicis, beneath the oblique head of adductor pollicis. And this branch will then travel over the first metacarpal and divide into two branches which will supply on either side of the thumb. So therefore the name which is given here, I will just name it as branch number 7 and arteria princeps pollicis. Arteria princeps pollicis beneath the oblique head of adductor pollicis. And the last branch, branch number 8, will be beneath the transverse head of adductor pollicis. So beneath the transverse head of adductor pollicis, now this branch will be lying between two muscles, below the transverse head of adductor pollicis and above the first dorsal interosseous muscle. As we know, this first dorsal interosseous muscle is on the dorsum side. This is the palm, and the palmar side of the muscle is the transverse head of adductor pollicis. So the last branch of radial artery will be lying between the transverse head of adductor pollicis and first dorsal interosseous muscle, and therefore this branch will be known as arteria radialis indicis. Therefore, this arteria radialis indicis, I will name it as branch number 8, arteria radialis indicis. It will supply the radial side of the index finger. Radial side of index finger. So this is the last branch, branch number 8. And after giving this branch number 8, this artery, radial artery, will pass. Once again, it is passing between the oblique head and transverse head of the adductor pollicis, and it will complete as the deep palmar arch, because it is going to meet the similar branch of the opposite side of the ulnar artery. So all these 8 branches we have discussed. Once again, please come on this side. These are the branches which we have discussed: the radial recurrent branch, muscular branches, then the palmar carpal branch, dorsal carpal branch, then the superficial palmar branch. Then please come on this side. Here on the dorsum, it will give this branch as the first dorsal metacarpal artery, and please come on this side. Here the last two terminal branches in the palm, which is known as arteria princeps pollicis and arteria radialis indicis artery. Here we complete the entire radial artery. Remember, in MCQ it is also asked that radial artery will terminate as continuation of deep palmar arch in the palm. Thank you very much.